Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to my week 5 sketchbook tour. So for this week's sketchbook tour, it was pretty interesting for me since I hadn't really done anything like this too familiar since this was pretty strict on drawing from like an actual still life, which is what I'm not used to. So what I first started going about with this assignment was to first actually just pretty much just draw straight lines the best I could, since Professor Jones did tell us that we couldn't do this assignment with a ruler. So using the method he showed me on how to draw using our wrist to fully engage with the pencil to make a straight line, that helped a lot, and just practicing that for a little while just so I can get used to before I went into the drawings themselves and drawing like the general form of them. Yeah. So then when I went about drawing each individual one, especially so for the first ones, it was actually a little intimidating for me since I was just really careful on making sure everything was really pristine and perfect. And while they did turn out really good, I think I spent way too much time on doing that. So moving on to the second page, it was pretty much the same thing with the teapot, as while it did turn out really well, I think I spent too much time on making sure these lines themselves were extremely perfect, which I think was which I, now after finishing all the drawings is kind of unnecessary now, maybe just for my preference. So moving on to this one, as you can see, it was quite challenging, not from the trapezoid, but from the sphere itself. As the sphere is took the longest time, probably 30 minutes, just that. As I had to actually erase it several times just to make sure I had an actual accurate form of the sphere. I think it turned out quite well for my first try. As you can see how I used the dots to really map out. I used a lot of them to make sure it was as accurate as possible. The only thing I say is it's actually a little too big in comparison to the original photo, to where the sphere is a little smaller. And then for this one, it was pretty much the same thing, except I actually tried going at a much faster pace to see how well I did, and I actually think I did decently well, except for the sphere itself, since it's a little too inaccurate, and I think that this itself can also be a little thicker in comparison to the original photo. But yeah, I think this one turned out decently well. So for this final one, I was actually really surprised at how this turned out. I said I think it turned out really good, especially because of how fast I was going. So how I went about with this is I just drew the regular square itself for the vase and used the dots to obviously map out just like all the rest. But what really helped me to get this accurate was something Professor Jones stated in his original one of his original tutorial videos, to just the dots serve a purpose not to be exactly accurate, but to just map out the general areas. So when I realized that, it just put me at ease and helped me really just draw out the general forms. And then once I drew those all out, I eventually went back in with curved lines to make it accurate. And I think it came out really well. But yeah, this is my week 5 sketch tour, and thank you for watching.